welcome to the Burnt Ships podcast. Today we are going to have the Super Bowl preview extravaganza. We're going to preview not only the game, but also the halftime show as well. Let you know what you're thinking about that. And in order to do this right, we had to bring in the legendary Virginia Tech legend here, PDX, aka Brian, the homie. Actually was on one of the first early songs that I produced ever in my life. He's on 2 Burnt Ship songs that haven't come out yet. One is a writer, one in background. So definitely a part of that as well. And we invited him in today because he has a unique perspective. Number one, played college football D1 for Virginia Tech, as he's repping right now. Number two, he also understands what it's like to be a fan of a dynasty, given that he's a diehard Steelers fan. And so to segue this in properly, right, the Chiefs now have an opportunity to win 4-6, similar to how your Steelers did.
Yeah.
Now, what I'd like to get your perspective on is from a legacy standpoint, given that a lot of the guys from the Steelers dynasty ended up in the Hall of Fame, what would winning 4-6 for the Chiefs do to some of these guys' Hall of Fame legacies? Like, do you see? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think it definitely elevates everyone's profile like a step up. I mean, if you're a part of those teams, man, you become household names. I mean, we already got it with Kelsey, you know, Chris Jones, like all those guys. Was it McFadden or
McDuffie, yeah.
So you got guys that are there, and they're still. The crazy part is they're still relatively young. Like
right. I think some of
the window is still wide open for them.
It'll be interesting to see if Tooney gets in, right? Because he had the overlap of the Patriots Super Bowl and then joined the Chiefs and won some Super Bowls with them. So it'll be interesting to see if they reward the offensive linemen as well. And also building off of that legacy question, the next question I have for you is from a Mahomes perspective. I think everybody already knows that he's a Hall of Fame first ballot type of quarterback.
That's
but my question to you, because I feel like you're uniquely qualified to answer this, is with him getting 4, that's the same number as Montana. Does he overtake Montana in the GOAT conversation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's like the last thing holding him back from being firmly number 2.
Okay.
And you can almost argue, it also strengthens the argument because the early success that he had, where the team relied on him for the success with the come from behind wins and all that stuff in those earlier Super Bowls, those first 2, that's going to elevate him past Montana. I'm no knock on Montana. It's just this dude is special.
Right. And obviously a lot of people have talked about the fact that ever since he's been a starter, he's never missed an AFC Championship game. Pretty impressive to think.
That's wild.
Right.
That's crazy.
So
that's crazy.
Question about legacy.
Hold on, you froze up a little bit.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it might be me. My internet might be janky. You know, I'm over here. I'm not gonna say whose internet I'm using right now.
Yeah, no promo.
I want y'all to lose those sponsors, but
right.
Yeah.
You in Virginia, Brian? Where you at?
Okay.
I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Okay.
Yeah. Reid, like Andy Reid, does he become a top 2 coach if he wins this one?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, so to me, well, man, I wouldn't even say a top 2. Like, I say this like a tier.
Right.
Because I mean, you have Lombardi.
Right.
And then everybody else.
Right.
So like at that next tier, you got Belichick, you got Hallis, you know, but Reid, like he's the winningest coach for 2 different teams. And took both of those teams to the Super Bowl. That's as a head coach. That's crazy. That's crazy. So yeah, definitely. There's a lot riding on this game, man. Even though I don't want to watch
different quarterbacks, different.
And would have won that first one were it not for the Belichick chicanery. So you know, there's that.
True.
So full disclosure,
I just want to watch E cringe up as you say it.
Well, Gary is.
I love you, Nan. I'm just playing with you, man. Come on now.
Gary is now an Eagles fan. He used to be a Patriots fan.
I was
to Eagles. So
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, you gotta let me explain. So I have a weird, like,
Okay.
I'm like a weird sports mutt. I grew up in Samoa, and I grew up randomly a Boston fan because my dad was a Celtics fan in the 80s. And then in the 85 Super Bowl, when the Pats got shellacked by the Bears with the Jim McMahon Super Bowl show, the only Samoan in the Super Bowl, I mean, now there's like a Samoan on every team, but at the time it was like Jesse Sapolu, Manu Tuiasopo for the Niners, and then you had Mosa Tupu for captain and special teams.
Right.
So that was the first year. Couple of things happened. They were in the Super Bowl with Mosa Tupu, and it was the first year we got to see it live off of the AFRTS Army television feed. Because before we had to listen to the game on the radio and then watch the tape delay a week later.
Yep.
That was the first year we got it live, so we were all hyped. And the only Samoan brother we knew was Moses, so we were all in on it. And then I went to Berkeley College of Music. And in the mid 90s, and I was there during the Drew Bledsoe and then left right when that year that they won. I was in LA, but I was still a Pats fan, Red Sox, but I've only held on to my Celtics loyalties here in Philly. But I didn't want my kids to have to bear the burden of being the weirdo that roots for the other team. So that's my sports journey in a nutshell.
Okay.
No, that's fair. That's fair. My journey's a little weird too because like I'm a military brat, so I'm a Steelers fan because my older brother was like a huge Lynn Swan fan. He's like I mean I know how I look. So just take me and subtract like 80 pounds, and that's my brother.
Yep.
So he was a huge fan. So I just like got into watching him. And the funny thing is, he was also in the Navy. He was stationed in Jacksonville when the Jags came online, when their franchise started. So he actually switched to Jacksonville.
Okay.
And at that point where they brought him in, they were in the AFC Central with the Steelers. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? How you switch? I still give him a hard time about that. But no, I get it. And then for basketball, like, so because I was born in Newport. I was born in Rhode Island. So like I was, I ain't really rock with the Patriots that much. I did rock with the Celtics, especially because they had who was the coach? Was
Jones? You talking
Doc
about
Rivers, or you talking about the Rivers era, or
Jones? Casey Jones. Yeah, it was Casey Jones. So I was rocking with them, but then I met David Robinson. We were my dad retired in Northern Virginia, and I met David Robinson. He went to the academy. He was a senior when my brother was a freshman. So I met him. Like his brother went to the same high school my sister went to, but he was trash. But like I met him, and so when he went to the Spurs, and actually I was in the military, and that whole deal where Robinson had to like do like that 2-year reserve thing.
Yeah. You were in the Navy?
Yeah, like I'm at the office he was working at right now. Like that's where I'm working at. So like we were in the same community. So I became a Spurs fan like back in like 86 or 87 or whatever, and just never looked back.
Gotcha.
All right. So since
we're not talking about that, we're talking about Super Bowl. My bad.
Yeah. So since Gary is clearly a Philly homer at this point in his life, I wanted to ask you to play the role of Spagnuolo and talk about how the Chiefs can stop Philly on offense, because you got Saquon Barkley averaging 221 yards per playoff game, dangerous runner. You got A.J. Brown, where some people might double him with a safety and then put a star corner like McDuffie on a Devontae Smith or another receiver so that the first two reads slow down. So how would you go about it, knowing that Spags is one of the greatest play callers in the Super Bowl? If you're Spags, what do you do?
Was that for me or for Gary?
Oh, I thought it was for Brian. I thought it was for Brian.
Yeah, for you, man. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it me?
Yeah,
for me. It's you, Brian. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it lagged a little bit. I might have to switch over to my cell phone Wi-Fi if this continues. But no. So I would say I think it's a good idea. Like doubling A.J. Brown and obvious passing downs makes sense. I think McDuffie on Smith makes sense, but just stop the run. And the thing is, the Eagles have run through everyone in the playoffs, but no one in the playoffs has had a good run defense as Kansas City has.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a good versus good matchup. So I think the Eagles will have to be creative on how they get Saquon the ball. Maybe some more work on screens, flare passes where he can get out in space and make some people miss. But lining up and just doing the tush push and running, and running between the tackles against KC, I don't think it's going to be a viable option. Right. And I think you could do that. You could put 8 in the box or a strong 7 with the safety help shaded towards AJ Brown, kind of in that box area where you could kind of do all those things at once. So now it becomes, okay, what are we doing with AJ Brown? We're going to line him up in the slot. So now it makes him, it makes it a little bit more easy to disguise, makes it harder for the Chiefs to disguise their coverage, moving around for the 2 point. So, you can see, check the motion. Are they a man? Are 2 guys going to the safety shift? Like all of those things are things that Philadelphia can do. But I think this is going to be their hardest team to run against that they've seen in the postseason.
Okay. And on offense, we've seen that Jaden Daniels at times has been able to give the Eagles some fits. So my question to you is, on offense, if you're play calling as Andy Reid would be, are you trying to do more bootlegs? Are you trying to get Mahomes in motion to take some of that? Or
yeah, you got to move the pocket. You got to get him either bootlegs, get him outside the pocket, design sprint rolls. You got because that defensive line is just ridiculous. Like you don't want to you're asking for it if you're going to stand there for 3 or 4 seconds in front of that defensive line with Jalen Carr and those guys.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so that sounds like a good plan. Let's flip it now and give Gary some time to big up his home team here. So Gary, on offense, what do you expect the Eagles to do to try to win this game and prevent the three-peat?
I mean, I'm kind of saying what I think Brian's spot on. Like you can't just do what you've been doing up to this point. I think you gotta mix it up and throw some be willing to go deep, but also throw some short slants and just mix up the offense and diversify it. I think if you try and be a one-trick pony and you come in, like playoffs, whatever the sport, it's all about adjustments. So It's like the counter to the counter to the counter. So I think where my head's at with it, the big picture is like I think Juergens and Dickerson's status is a big sort of like question mark for me, and then also like Hurts. Hurts has been playing hurt, and so he's good. He's a good enough, athletic enough kid to perform to the degree that he has, but he has not been 100%. So I think with that pass rush and what that defensive line brings, it's going to be. Like Brian said, you can't just go in there and put it all on Saquon, as good as he is, right? So I think it's got to be a team effort on offense.
So on the D line, you got a concern with Chris Jones and Karlaftis, right? Because Karlaftis, to me, is really broken out this year. I think before fans knew about him, everybody knows about Chris Jones that really follows football. My question to you is, how much play action would you mix in, given that they're going to be scared of Saquon breaking these runs? Like, would you do a lot of play action? Like, how much would you mix in there?
I think so. I think you've got to. I think you've got to be bold and mix it up. I would like say a third to maybe even, close to half. Or I think they need to not play to lose, but play to win.
Okay.
I think their defense is just. I've been blown away by how improved they've come this year, and just seeing them perform in the playoffs, especially after the first couple of games of the season. Philly's weird, not a weird time, but you all know Philly, like in terms of being sports fans, it's so intense. We went down after the game at City Hall, and it's crazy, man. It's going to be bananas. I'm looking forward to it. That was I went down the night right after the game with some of my boys here in the neighborhood, and we went down I'm looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be bananas.
Okay, and then well, Brian, did you have anything to add in terms of keys when the Eagles are on offense before I move to defense?
I would say I agree with the points on mixing it up and with the play action. I would say it's situational. So like maybe more in your early downs when they're expecting run, maybe in short yardage where you're gonna maybe you do a fake off touch push and launch that thing downfield. Like that's the level of adjustment I think is going to be needed for Philly to pull this out. Although to be fair, if you look at the rosters, Philly is a better team than the team that lost to Kansas City in the Super Bowl the last time.
That's correct.
They're objectively a better team.
Yeah.
The only thing we're really banking on is that Mahomes is that dude.
Yeah. That's true.
That's really what it and to be fair, and Kansas City's defense got slightly they didn't decline. I'm not gonna say they're better. I'm saying they didn't decline. But yeah, like so I don't know what does anybody know any of y'all know what the line is?
I can check. I'll check and we'll get back to that because we got to do predictions later anyway.
Okay.
So let's pivot and say Eagles are on defense. Gary, you're now the defensive play caller. What are you doing to frustrate Mahomes in the offense? Are you doubling Kelsey? Are you jamming Worthy at the line? What types of things are you doing to make sure that Kansas City is not comfortable on offense, Gary?
I definitely would do all that stuff. I think they should blitz and mix that in a little too. I think it's situational too. I think you want to, Mahomes is, he doesn't have many weak spots, but I think, doubling those guys, blitzing now and again, trying to mix up your coverage. So the thing that struck me watching them is like just the level. Again, I can't like emphasize it enough. Just from watching them from last year, like they make tackles. Their fundamentals are so sound now. Like it's a world of difference. Like they would lose the first down last year in similar situations, and that's the thing I kept noticing this year. So I think for them that the key is to just keep doing what they're doing. Is to just be disciplined, right? Keep the penalties down, and just really make tackles. Just continue to make tackles. Don't get them to punt. Get them to go 3 and out. And then all the stuff that you mentioned. I think doubling those players and just really doing what they've continued to do throughout this playoff run.
All right. So let me expand on that a little bit and bring Brian in here, right? They have arguably a defensive player of the year on their defense. They arguably have a defensive rookie of the year on their defense, depending on how you feel about their defensive backs performance relative to what Jared Verse did over in Los Angeles. Has the Eagles defense been so stacked this year that they could be the reason that the Eagles pull off the upset and win the Super Bowl? Brian, what do you think? Do they have enough horses now?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. And I think so more off of like up front. They can get pressure with their front four.
Right.
So if you can rush 4 and drop 7, like you're already in a great situation. And you add on top of that, outside of Kelsey, all the receivers are new. I mean, I'll give you Juju, but I mean, okay. Like if you beat me in a game where Juju Smith-Schuster is the lead receiver, I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna take that L. I'm gonna take that L. And actually I think we did it last time we played them.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the one thing I would say, because I love Eagles defense. I love watching them. I think Cooper DeJean has, in a very short time, established himself as a problem in that secondary, being such a young player. Yeah. That being said, I do think like Xavier Worthy, also a rookie, with that speed that he has and the way that they're able to get him out in space is going to be a problem. And so I feel like just like they might consider having a spy on Jalen Hurts for his legs while they see how able he is to run with the injury, they probably need to put their fastest DB somewhere in a position to account for Xavier Worthy. Otherwise, there's a chance that if they scheme it up right, he could break a big one. That'd be my one X factor as a defensive coordinator. Like, do you account for one? I get that Kelsey's a problem. I get that D Hop is an established vet. I get that if you don't watch
D Hop,
but
Oliver Brown back.
But Xavier Worthy got speed, and speed kills. I don't know if it's quite 4-2, but there are times where it seems like it. Just watching him.
I did.
Lumpy.
No, it did.
Okay. So fair enough. I think. Oh, go ahead.
No. I'm just saying, like, to me, like, if you can avoid having, so to me, if that game plan is effective, then you're running 11 personnel. So you got one back, you got 3 wide receivers, you got 1 running back. And now you have an opportunity to scheme Xavier Worthy being covered by a linebacker.
Ooh.
If you can do that, you put him on that will linebacker. Oh, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Yeah.
But that is the challenge.
Yeah.
That is a challenge. So I think you can scheme him into those situations. And they've been doing pretty well with they hit him with the jet sweeps, they hit him with the with the jail screens. So like that's gonna work.
Yeah.
But I think the only weakness of the Eagles defense that I can see is linebacker coverage.
Yeah.
If those linebackers got drop back in coverage, like I'm good with the corners, I'm good with the safeties, I'm good with the D line. Can those linebackers cover that slot receiver and Travis Kelce, or even Gray? Like all of their tight ends are Kansas City tight ends are decent, but it's more of like Kelce has that neural link with freaking Mahomes. Where they ain't even calling the plays. He's out there running routes.
Yeah. It's like Gronk and Brady,
Yeah.
It is literally that. It's literally that.
Okay.
So I think how do the Eagles deal with that in pass coverage? I think that might be the key to the game. That and turnovers.
Yeah. The one thing I give Andy Reid credit for is because he knows Xavier Worthy is small, he rarely has him just line up on the line of scrimmage where he can get jammed because he's a little too small to break out of consistent jams against like a McDuffie, for instance, who has a height.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that as a win in a one matchup. No.
Right. So I think in this particular game, Andy Reid has a chance to really and truly cement his legacy in a way where, and I know that Gary knows this as well. Andy Reid was darn near hated in Philly when he left because they just felt like he was underperforming. They hated McNabb. I'm telling you that I know plenty.
No, I get it. As a Steelers fan, I'm in a unique situation to appreciate this.
Right, and it's so interesting that both teams have ended up winning Super Bowl since he left for Kansas City. It's just Kansas City has won at a higher rate, and this is one of the things where I think if Philly wins, Philly can maybe make an argument. I don't think it's a strong argument that they made the right choice moving on from Andy Reid as well. But they would need to win this one for it to even be a conversation where people weren't rolling their eyes, right? Because as far as I can remember, they've only won since Andy Reid is gone, and Andy Reid is potentially about to win 4. So they kind of need to win this one for the Philly fan base to not be a laughingstock as far as being wrong on Andy Reid, right? That's
I think that's the only way you're right on it because it's like we also beat you,
right? So yeah, that goes. Gary, you want to weigh in here on watching Andy Reid run up all those titles? Since
I mean, listen, I was in Samoa when he beat us 2 years ago, so I think it's definitely one of the big stories of the week right now, our get back game, revenge game. And there's no love lost, man. Like Philly fans they're your blue collar, working class, fan base, just like the Steelers, just like the Patriots, and they don't suffer the fool, man. And if you don't deliver, they don't forget. So
the crazy thing is he delivered to a point. He got y'all to a Super Bowl. He got y'all multiple NFC championship games. And all I would hear is he didn't win it. Now, I will say his clock management, his in-game management wasn't where it is now. And that was a legitimate.
He's definitely gotten better.
Yeah, that was a legitimate critique about him. But if you look at the Chip Kelly years and some of those other coaches that they cycled through,
oh my God, yeah. It's not surprising, right? This happens in every city, right? Like nobody remembers what's his name? Seahawks.
Pete Carroll?
Pete Carroll. Nobody remembers Pete Carroll in New England because he didn't deliver, and like nobody has.
So
I thought he went to the Super Bowl with I thought he went to the Super Bowl with Pete Carroll.
No. So what happened was they went to the Super Bowl with Parcells. Yeah, and lost to the Packers. Yeah, and then Carroll took over because Parcells wanted to go to the Jets because basically Robert Kraft stopped them from drafting a bust in the first round, and instead we drafted Terry Glenn. And he was so butthurt over it that he went to football purgatory, better known as New York Jets.
Hold on. Who was he supposed to draft instead?
So I think his last name was like Brackens or something. Is like
okay. Yeah.
Dude was a scrub, like compared to Terry Glenn's career. And I'm not saying Terry Glenn is the best wide receiver to ever play, but his career runs circles around the dude that Parcells is about to draft.
Well, you don't win that first Super Bowl without Terry Glenn. So I mean
or get to it. You mean?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, it's that what have you done for me lately? And I think that's the aspect of Philly sports, like and it.
Oh yeah, I think Philly as a fan base is the most reactive, irrational, miserable fan base I have ever seen. Right, dating back to the jail cell having to be in the Vet Stadium because Philly fans could not stop being violent at games, pelting Santa Claus with snowballs and batteries, pelting ex-players with batteries. Like, no, Philly is a very unique, miserable fan base where they will punish you for almost more than they punish you for mediocrity. Like, it's almost like Andy Reid was better off getting to the divisional round every year and losing than getting to all those NFC Championships games and then losing in the Super Bowl by only 3 points, right? That's kind of the way I look at Philly. Like, it's kind of like if you don't win a title, you're better off kind of doing like a second round exit every year. And it's that was pretty good.
Yeah, second round is good. Like first round exit is just disheartening. Yeah. Second round, you got something to, at least you won one.
Right. So like I think Andy Reid is better off losing the divisional round area and y'all would have been fine. Because, let's be honest. There's been some coaches that Philly loved that didn't do as well as Andy Reid. Like I think Philly likes Buddy Ryan more because of the body bag game. Not because he actually went to the Super Bowl.
Andy Reid is the winningest head coach in Philadelphia Eagle history.
Exactly. And they hate him. That tells you everything you need to know about the average Philly fan's football knowledge and appreciation, right?
Remember, y'all have seen the Bill Burr incident, right, in Philly?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's like that embodies everything you're talking about. Brian, there's this clip, you can look it up later, but it's basically a big comedy show where a bunch of comics were coming on and they were all getting heckled the entire night. And Bill Burr's towards the end. So he comes on and instead of doing his set, he just starts going into it and just immediately starts like talking shit to the crowd. Yeah. And, he's like, you guys are, like the only line I remember, he's like, you guys are so fucking racist. You had to go and invent your own fictional boxer when you had your own heavyweight world champion in Frazier. 5 minutes. I'm doing the whole set. And then he just like does a countdown.
Yeah. Because that was such a good point, right? I mean, Joe Frazier literally, beat Muhammad, held the title, lived in the city, put on for the city.
Absolutely.
Again, this is what the essence of what Philly is.
But here, hold up. In Philly, at the end of the series, at the end of that show, the Bill Burr thing, the only person that got applause and they showed love to in a standing O was Bill Burr. Like, earned their respect. So, like,
because they know they're full of shit deep down. Like, like Philly fans know they're full of shit.
Oh, come on! I will not let you besmirch this entire city.
So I will say
you're just mad because I was talking shit about.
I've had to teach classes in Philly, like in an unrelated to music. I've had to teach classes in Philly, and when I was respectful and this is how we do it, it was not going well for me. But the minute I started calling people out for interrupting, like, oh, that's cute. I don't really care. Like when somebody would say, you know what I mean? All of a sudden they love me, and then I can continue on. They just want to be called out on their bullshit because they know that. Yeah. That's all.
Every fan base has its bad characters. I mean, like, Philly didn't like shit and come into
Patriots Party 1.
Right. Philly didn't come in and shit on Bill Russell's bed, and smear it on his walls.
Oh, look,
they didn't shoot.
I will not defend Boston as a city. There's plenty of problematic things that Boston has done. I just know, like, Philly's the only stadium that needed a jail cell and a judge. That's a different level.
Non, why can't you let the past go? That was like 30 years ago. Why are you going to the past now?
It was.
Brian, you see what I deal with here? It's always going to I'm trying to talk about the future. I'm trying to build hope. He's talking about the past. I'm talking about the future.
And you do not know the past are doomed to repeat it, bro.
Hey, Gary, Patriots fan, that's all he got.
Let's pivot like we would at halftime to the halftime show.
Yes, sir. No, let's
talk about it. We have Kendrick Lamar. Yes. This is a confirmed featured guest. We know that for a fact. So here's my set list predictions, and y'all tell me what you think will be in, what you think will be out. So I think what's going to be locked in is Not Like Us, of course. Squabble Up, the new single. I think that's going to be in. I think Humble. I don't see how he doesn't do Humble. All the Stars with SZA, because that was a big record. It was on pop radio, the whole thing, right? Those are the 4 that for sure I know he's going to perform. I think SZA gets a solo.
That's like 20 minutes, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I think SZA gets a solo. I think she does Kill Bill because that was a huge record. I think the possibles are Luther featuring SZA, which is kind of popping right now. The Like That verse that he did with Metro Boomin and Future that went number 1.
I think he starts with that.
All right.
Yes, all right. That was what I was going to say.
Off because of the mustard thing and a lot of people like that. Those are my second tier where I think somewhat likely. And then I think
one of those gets in.
And then I got my dark horse candidates. You ready for this one? All right, for the dark horses. Okay. Number 1, Bad Blood, because she did a remix with Taylor Swift where they on the track together. And she's going to be
on the same page, bro.
She's going to be in the stadium.
You on the same page.
I thought about that, but she
has to make it chill. She has to. Has to.
That's dark horse number 1.
If only just to piss off all the white people. That's all all the
dark horse.
Well, there's a Drake angle to that too, though, because she's supposed to be cool with Drake. So if she shows up on the stage with Kendrick, now only deepens the beef. That just twists the knife further.
So the other layer to that is their main producers are best friends. Like Jack Antonoff and Soundwave have a production company together. So we know their producers are homies. We know it's a layup. And we know that Taylor Swift once said that she wanted to be Kendrick Lamar's best friend because she thought he was so cool. So if he wants it, it can happen. That's where I'm at with that one for dark horse number 1.
I'm telling you, that's walking on the goddamn stage, man. I'm trying to tell you right now.
I thought it was a good dark horse. Number 2, dark horse. Pray for Me featuring The Weeknd. Maybe SZA does the hook. Maybe Taylor does the hook. That's a switch up. That was a big record. That's a dark horse. Swimming Pools, because it was his first single. Dark horse.
I give you that. I don't think that's a dark horse though. I mean, that's like. So I think it's either gonna be the like that, or it's going to be like something like swimming pools, like something he's known for. So either it's like one of his most famous things he's known for, or the most current thing he's known for. That's not what's the word?
Like 2 Underground?
No. It's not. That's not the current joint.
Oh yeah.
Does he open with Not Like Us, or does he close with it?
I close with Not Like. That's what I was trying to say. I think he closed with Not Like Us. I wouldn't open with it, but you open with something that people know.
Yeah.
I think the only way he doesn't close with Not Like Us is if SZA feature and then like is in the tail end, and then he would close with All the Stars. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if he wants to go solo and then bring SZA on, then it'll probably be all the SZA songs in order. Yeah, I mean, just so that it's not like off, on again, off, on again. Typically, the timing on all those things, you bring on whoever it is, and they do all of the songs you have with them, and then they get on.
Right, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And then,
So that would be the only way. So I have some other dark horses like I think DNA, Love, and Loyalty, but Rihanna probably ain't coming back for Loyalty. She's already done it. So I think that's the possible set list I have in the tiers. So where you that with it? Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so. I think you hit it pretty good. Unless he's gonna bring something completely out of left field, like like maybe like a Snoop or maybe not Snoop right now.
Child's Play, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if Snoop and him are concerned right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of the whole like Snoop did a thing where he was reacting to the tailor-made freestyle with him and the AI, and he was nodding his head and not really taking exception to it. And then Snoop just performed at the inauguration, the crypto.
Oh, he performed. Oh, that's right, he performed at the crypto.
Yeah, it was him, Nelly, Rick Ross.
I think Kendrick.
Everybody lining up.
I don't think Kendrick is super on the best of terms like that. Plus, Snoop already did it with Dre. He ain't dying to come back.
I think I'm hoping for Taylor, man. Like I just want to see it. I just want the spectacle. I just want to see it.
I think Bad Blood would be a great dark horse, right? The remix with him on it, I think that would be a great moment. Instant iconic. The NFL has been dying for this anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they don't converge, if it doesn't happen, it's because Kendrick said no.
And that was what I was going to say. I hadn't even thought about it until y'all started saying it, and it makes sense on paper. But then the other thing is, this is Kendrick and SZA's time to shine. Taylor's already had, you know what I mean? Like there's also like, no, this is my moment in the sun, not yours. There's that.
Well, so it depends, because we've seen multiple guests before, right? It started off as Dre and Snoop, then we got 50, then we got M, and then we got Kendrick. So it was there was 5 people on stage. So this would only be a max of 3 people on stage potentially. It's not unheard of. Bruno Mars brought on didn't he bring on I'm trying to remember. He brought on Red Hot Chili Peppers, but he brought on another group too, right? Was it? I forgot who it else. And then I know Coldplay brought Bruno Mars back, and then they also brought Beyonce back. So it's one of those things where 2 features isn't unprecedented. Katy Perry brought out Missy. So I'm saying that to say it's not unprecedented to have more than one guest.
I mean, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah,
it's not unprecedented, but it's also guests features that were coming from the same genre and the same culture and the same life.
Right.
And like Taylor is the biggest pop star we have right now. She's got plenty of shine up to this. So I'm just saying, like, I hope I'm wrong, because I agree with you. That would be awesome in terms of like the actual show and the content of it for her to pull up.
Yeah,
I think she's willing to do it. I just don't think, like I said, I think if it breaks down, it's on him. Because like Taylor Swift did a Saturday Night Live, like random.
Right. Yeah, no, it's up to Kendrick. That's right.
It's up to Kendrick, because like she did a random sketch with like the dudes that do those little sketches, and she did a song with them that was completely had nothing to do with the show. She was a star. Like I guess she was just available. So I think she's down for it. It's just a matter. You know how Kendrick is, man. Like he's our tour, so it's like I have a vision.
The interesting thing here is we know that part of this is launching their stadium tour, right? Because we know that Kendrick and SZA are going on this tour.
Yeah. You called that like 2 months ago when we first talked about it. No?
Yeah, so SZA essentially dropped a deluxe version of SOS called Lana, and it has a bunch more songs on it. I think it's now the track list expanded from like 22 to 30. There are multiple songs with Kendrick on them. I imagine they did that in mind of the tour. It's like, well, let me put some songs on so we can perform them together. Have a great discography together, obviously. So this would be a great soft launch for that. I'm sure if they work it right with their socials and they have everything automated, they will be able to sell out multiple shows for those that haven't sold out yet. I think it's perfect launch for them. Not every show is sold out, but yeah, I know what you're saying. But yeah, I think it's the perfect launch for that. The one question I think will be, does Taylor Swift come out to do Bad Blood? I think if so, I think it's set up to be a coronation because we've talked about in previous podcasts how Kendrick, after taking down Drake, has essentially taken his legacy to the next level. Yes. #1 records, #1 album, et cetera, et cetera. Now he has a Super Bowl performance coming up. I think he's fine without the Taylor Swift look, but I think the Taylor Swift look breaks the internet and potentially is an even bigger launch pad.
Yeah, that's a great call. That's right.
Has to do it. I'm saying I think it's 70-30 he won't. But that's why I have it as a dark horse. Because if he does it, I don't think anybody could stop his momentum. Because Swifties are like one of the most malleable fan bases I've ever seen. Swifties see Kendrick and Taylor at the Super Bowl. They're going to go crazy. They're going to run up his numbers streaming wise. And they're probably going to buy a damn ticket just off of the fact, oh, yeah, he did something. So it's a great money play. I'm not
right.
And Kendrick should do it, but it would be friggin' genius.
So here's the counter to the counter. Not that we're arguing, because that's 70-30. I think you're right. It's probably about 70-30.
Yeah.
The counter to that is Kendrick has never. He always marches to the beat of his own drum for the most part. Like that tends what you just described does not interest him by and large. If you look at his career, he hasn't done that. Like for the most part, he's not one to like hinge stuff on like, oh, maybe I could get to. So there's also that.
Oh, I agree, but he already did the record with her. It's not like he's going to the studio inventing a record to debut.
That's true.
At the record that he believed in enough to hop on back then. And in that time, they will tell you, this is not to throw shade at anybody, but they will tell you that they had Drake in the wall of the studio and they were talking about, we want to get to that level, but on our own terms. So that's why you started to see some of these features in that particular era. They were trying to get Kendrick into that next level. It would be a full circle moment. I think it's fine if he doesn't do it. I think it'd be huge if he does. All right. So now that we've taken the halftime break, let's get into predictions. I want to know, who do you think is the MVP? Who do you think is going to be the winner? The Chiefs are a 1.5 favorite as of right now. I looked up the Vegas odds. And then so what is the recommendation on the betting? And so, Brian, let's start with you as the expert, and then we'll go to Gary as a Philly homer, and then I'll speak on it. So MVP, winner, and recommended bet.
Well, if the Chiefs win, Patrick Mahomes is going to be the MVP.
Okay.
With the line, that 1.5, that's basically whoever has the ball last is going to win the game.
Right.
So to me, like I think, like we've been talking about, it comes down to turnovers. It comes down to possession, the little things, the pre-snap penalties, the unsportsmanlike conducts that come out of left field for no damn reason. So like it's those things that I think they're going to decide this game. Mm-hmm. But Kansas City has the track record of winning all of those games, and they've done it for the last 2 years.
Yes.
So to me, I'm cool with that line. I'm cool. I'm assuming that Casey's going to have the ball at the end of the game. Mahomes is going to have to engineer a game-winning drive, either a field goal or a touchdown to win it. I think a field goal, to be honest with you. The caveat that I would have with the Eagles winning is that they control the ball so much with Saquon Barkley that it limits Kansas City's possessions. So they can't score as many points to be in a position to win at the end of the game. But if you're in the position to win at the end of the game, I got KC all day, man.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair. All right. So you're saying KC, Mahomes is MVP.
Yep.
Bet KC against that 1.5 line. All right.
Yep. Take your points.
Okay. All right. Homer Gary, over to you, man.
Well, okay. I'm the unreliable Homer here, and I've got the Eagles winning it. How
do you have the Eagles winning it?
I have the Eagles winning it in a close game, but not a nail biter in the last 3 minutes. I think you're right. I think they're up. Like there's some back and forth in the last 5-8 minutes. And I think because of time of possession, their ability to, keep them from third down conversions and their discipline on defense and their offensive line, I think they're going to win by a more comfortable margin, like a touchdown or. Wow. It's my hot take. I acknowledge.
It's not necessarily a hot take because, if Philly goes up 2 scores and they can maintain that touchdown lead,
right,
that dictates what Kansas City can do on offense,
right,
down the stretch of the game. So that's not necessarily a bad take. I just don't know if the personnel's there to make that happen.
I think
that could happen.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I want to make it exciting for the listeners. I don't want to say the same thing everybody else. So I got a 7.
MVP.
7. Here's another. I think this is a hot take. I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts, a breakout game.
Okay.
Over Saquon Barkley. No, this is my hot take.
Hey, they're not playing the Steelers.
Wow. So you're expecting a lot of play action, I'm assuming. A lot of effective play action. So, okay.
I think if Philly wins, I think Saquon Barkley's the MVP, which is rightfully so because they robbed him of giving an opportunity to be the regular season MVP.
Okay, don't get me started, Brian. Do not get me started on that. I'm with you.
That's trash.
I agree. Okay, so here's mine, and then we can kind of talk about it. All right, so I'm actually going against my better judgment. Like my judgment says KC will win because that's what they do. They remind me of the Patriots during our dynasty, where it's like
they really do. Yeah.
And everybody rolled their eyes, and we'd always win by like a field goal. All right, it just was what it was. That's where KC is right now. It's just
I like this guy.
All that being said, I'm conceding this 100%. But here's where I'm going to deviate from conventional wisdom.
Okay.
When I watch Saquon Barkley play in this playoff, averaging 200 plus yards a game, he looks like a man on a mission. He looks like a man that not only wants a title for himself, a title for his new team that actually appreciates him, that didn't play games and put a scrub quarterback above. He is running like he wants to make running backs great again. Okay?
I'm with
That's
you.
That's how he is running. He is running.
I'm running back. I get you.
Did you see him leap backward last week?
So what I am going to say is I think Saquon Barkley runs for the game of his life. I'm predicting 200 yards again, 2 touchdowns. I think he has waited his whole life for this game. I think he has a Texas-sized chip on his shoulder. I think the man wants blood. Saquon Barkley, MVP.
I love it. I love the way you're talking.
Eagles by 3. So I would take the Eagles on the line. So that's where I'm going with it. Reluctantly, only.
Wait. The Eagles have the line?
No.
The Chiefs did 1.5.
Yeah. So
he's saying the Eagles are going to win by 3.
Yes.
Okay. So I want to just add something. What you just said is probably more likely, and intellectually I get that. When I pick Jalen Hurts, that's me trying to like switch it up and be like, well, what could happen? Like, but what you're saying, it's more likely that Saquon will be the MVP. But I'm gonna like go with Jalen in this instance too. But yeah.
Well, I'll put it this way. I think if the Eagles win, it will be because Saquon's the MVP.
Right.
There is a path where the Chiefs could legitimately shut down the Eagles' run game, and they gotta throw. And if that's the case, then yes, Jalen Hurts, I think, has the ability to do that.
Yeah, especially when he's healthy. But
yeah. And he has an extra week to get healthy. So I think that is a viable scenario. I'm just saying I'm going with the dude that already done won 3.
Yeah, I mean you're not.
The only reason why he got beat because he had no line, and the line is doing okay. So I'm like, hard. It's hard to.
I get it, and normally I would be right there with you, and I would say KC all day, every day. They've seen it all before. They've done it all before. They're unfazed. They have a better coach. They have a better head coach. My intellectual argument, now my intellectual argument is the Eagles player by player have more raw talent. Player by player have more raw talent. I think Mahomes I think Mahomes is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Don't get me wrong.
No shit.
But if you go player for player on that defense, I take the Eagles D-line. I do. I take the Eagles D-line over the
So you're saying Jalen Carter's better than Chris Jones?
I am saying the collective.
No, I'm saying, are you saying Jalen Carter is better than Chris Jones? It comes down to is Jalen Carter a bigger playmaker than Chris Jones?
I think that's a reasonable question. I think Chris Jones
it's not a reasonable question.
No, I think Chris Jones is better
than
Jalen Carter. But I think the other 3 Eagles are better than Karlaftis and company.
And I think, and I agree with you on that. I actually agree with you on that.
So that's why
I will see you and I will raise you Spags.
Spags, that's fair. Spags is a great big game D coordinator,
and that's the only leg I'm standing on at this point.
And it is tough to bet against Spags. I think he's undefeated as a defensive coordinator in Super Bowls, isn't he?
I think so. I have to go back.
No, wait, was he the defensive coordinator against Brady for Tampa Bay though, or was that a different? No,
I think that was Bowles. Because remember, Arians was the coach, and then Bowles ended up taking over for Arians.
No, I'm talking about on KC, because Spags was KC D coordinator.
I don't know. I have to look.
Trying to remember. Yeah, we gotta look at. But if not, then Spags is undefeated as a defensive play caller in Super Bowls, and that is all fair. Like I said, my head tells me KC in a close one, 3-point game.
That's what I'm calling.
But watching Saquon, I just feel like, dude, you ever just see players that are
Saquon's been running up against bum defenses the whole postseason.
I hear you. I'm
Come
just
on,
saying.
Man. Washington's defense, our offense looked good against Washington's defense.
I'm not saying Washington's defense is good, but objectively,
that's the last defense they played.
Rams have some ballers on it.
Yeah, the Rams came on.
So I would say
I give you that.
Rams have a solid defensive line. They have Jared Verse, who, to me, arguably defensive rookie of the year, depending on what you value.
He's in the.
They got another beast on the other side, and they got Kensins wasn't a bad safety as a rookie. Cameron Kensins, So I say all that to say, look, at the end of the day, I'm probably wrong about this. I will concede, but I'm gonna go with Saquon being a man possessed, doing what Barry Sanders couldn't, which is win his team a title as the number 1 running back in the league, breaking 2,000 yards regular season and averaging 221 yards.
See, if they were going to do it, if that's how they felt, they should have played him that last game so he could have got the record. I don't think Philly. I don't think they're
still going to get he's still probably going to get the season record for both regular season. No, I agree. I was pissed off. I thought it was a bad.
There was no reason for him to sit him out. I mean, I agree.
You're not going to get an argument from me.
If you play in the offensive line, you can play the running back. That's my thing.
Yeah, no,
I think that's fair, but I also see the argument for Saquon is as important as most teams' quarterbacks. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. That's
true. So
I think
that's all.
Why not? But not why not just play him the first half and then why not play him quarter by quarter?
And I get that
it wasn't like it wasn't like he needed 200 yards. He only needed like was it 75 or 100?
I'm personally not defending it. I've seen during our dynasty years, there were times where players played for a half and then sat. There were times where they got a quarter and then they got sat for the last game if we already had
I know, if Tampa Bay can throw a pass after they already won the game and they were about to go to the playoffs and they're throwing passes on fourth down so they can get their man 100,000, get that man, get Mike Evans 1,000 yards, they could have got Saquon Barkley the record. That's all I'm saying. They knew.
I agree 100%. I think probably what happened is they talked to him. They're like, do you want the record or
he's always gonna say no because he always does that dumb shit. I'd have had it for fantasy for years, man. And he'll run out of bounds instead of trying to get a touchdown or like run and kneel on the one instead of getting a touchdown. So I get that, but come on, man, the dude was already there. He was already at the precipice.
The way to I think Brian and I are on the same page. What I was saying to people was this is a once in a lifetime thing.
40 years.
There's two main layers to it. It's once in a lifetime. Well, three. There is a calculated, reasonable way to play him to minimize risk. That's two. And then the third reason is what you don't want to do heading into the playoffs is, what we were talking about earlier, play not to lose. You want momentum, and the boost and the momentum they would have gotten from that record, assuming he's not injured, would have been huge, and that would have fed them into. I think they would have won by, even more.
Yeah, luckily, y'all played Green Bay. It was trash, so you had to worry about that.
To be clear, I'm playing devil's advocate here, but Saquon Barkley has a different injury history than some other running backs in terms of, he's had some career with et cetera. I'm not saying that he didn't deserve a shot, but I can understand why. You know what I mean? I don't remember, for instance, Barry Sanders ever having a season-ending injury. So it's a little bit different. I think with Saquon, I think he had two separate seasons that were ended early by a season-ending injury. And I get, wanting to be conservative given his injury history. I'm an advocate. I agree with both of y'all. I agree with both of y'all. As a fan,
but for all of that, they arrested him. He did get the record. He played in his first game and got hurt anyway. So what's the point? He's got a calf strain. Now, granted, it'll heal by the time the Super Bowl comes around, but he still got hurt. So the whole you're a running back. You risk season injury every time you play. But if you're gonna base your offense on running the ball, and you gonna run the ball with this dude, then you gotta run the ball with that dude.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you, Brian. And I know Nas is playing. I mean, part of it too is generational, right? It's not just in the NFL, it's like load management in the NBA right now. It's just a different era. People don't rock like that in terms of they're much more cautious, right? They CTE is a big thing as well. So the rules are a little bit different. So I will say that, but I agree with you, Brian. I was on no, you got to let this dude. This does not happen all the time, and if anybody deserves to have their name in the record books like that, it's this guy. He's a consummate professional and shows up and all that. So
Gary, I'll put it to you this way. If it was Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes coming up on 5,000 yards passing, you think he's sitting that last game?
Yeah.
He played.
I didn't thought about that. That's a great way. That's a great analogy. Yeah, that's right.
That's what I'm saying. So that's my issue with it. So to your point, if he's on that level of a franchise player, he's the engine, then you gonna push that engine.
again, I was just playing devil's advocate. Like all three of us think he should have had a shot to bring. I'm just saying
that in particular.
injury history, and two, like quiet as kept. No disrespect to Jalen Hurts, but to me, Saquon is that offense, and it's because So it's a little different for most people. The quarterback is the offense, and so in that scenario. It's just like they sat Josh Allen after like one pass or something in the last game against us this season.
Right, but he started though, and there's a reason why they did that.
Right.
There were bonuses. See, like that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm pretty sure there was a rider in his contract that if he broke the single season rushing record, there was going to be a bonus, which is why Mike Evans got that last pass. That was $1 million.
So in fairness to the Eagles, I could tell you that what the Patriots would do sometimes is if a player was close, like within, let's say, a 50-yard,
he was within 75 yards.
But I'm telling you, the Patriots would pay it out anyway. They would essentially be like, "Hey, look, we're going to pay you anyway. You got this close, but we locked down the 1 seed. We'd rather have you be healthy. We're going to pay you anyway. Here's the paperwork. We send them back to your agent. You good." If the Eagles did that with Saquon's agent, then like other than giving him the chance to outright break the record, at least
but that's the point was the record. It's not the bonus, right? Saquon's got plenty of money. I think one other thing, real quick, is like we had talked about this earlier, is the fan base, right? The calculus, the math is a little different for Sirianni and ownership, because if he did get injured, I think they're especially cautious because Philly's a different fan base, and they would just be like, they were scared. I think that was part of it.
Yes,
Philly's
that evil that people would pull up on his house.
I agree, and I don't, because it's like, yes, if he got hurt, but it's when he would have gotten hurt. So, do you really think that the Eagles wouldn't have made it through that first round without him?
No. I think they still would have won that game, but
that's what I'm saying. So, like,
but there's also a
you got 2 weeks to heal. You got a month.
I'm like with Don on this. Like, I agree. Like, if I were the owner, I would have been like, "Nah, we're gonna play more Sirianni." But I'm saying in there, we can only guess. We weren't in the room, but like, I think one of the factors was probably like, man, these Philly people are crazy. We cannot. If this dude gets hurt, they are going to tear us to pieces, and I'm going to lose my job. Like, I think that was some part of it. I don't know what the percentage was, but I think that was part of it. That's all I'm saying.
I think that's fair.
Bonus debate here, because in talking about what just happened and the Super Bowl matchup, there were a lot of people, I would say conservatively, 60 to 75% of sportscasters wanted Josh Allen to make the Super Bowl. Just hearing some of the comments, hearing how they were glazing him all season. Yeah. They really want that guy. Just like how they made Brett Favre sound like a better person than he actually was. I think there's a similar obsession with Josh Allen. He's kind of the new Favre, where sportscasters
he's
overrate him like a
he's a beast, though. You got
He is. But where I was going with this is, do you feel like he's overhyped because of how badly sportscasters want him to finally beat Mahomes and get a title?
No.
Okay. So
to me,
go ahead.
This is the Reggie Miller versus Michael Jordan discussion.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Reggie Miller was cold as hell.
Oh, he's great.
And he ended up getting to the chip. Granted, he got his ass stomped, but he ended up getting to the chip.
Right.
But he ain't do it until after Jordan left.
Right.
That's what greatness is. It's not defined by what you do. It's defined by what you keep other people from doing.
Right.
So the fact that Burrow don't got a ring, Lamar don't got a ring,
right.
Josh Allen don't got a ring.
Right.
Like, that is how good Mahomes is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think it's a fair question, though. I mean, I think there's some unknown percentage of it that is similar to Caitlin Clark. Like, Caitlin Clark
is good.
Badass. Like she's a badass. But I think there's also like, I think the media, not us, but I think the media looks for white black narratives, and they're always looking for like the great white hope. So I think there is a layer to Allen's popularity and the punditry, the pundits wanting that, you know, and I can't prove that, but I just think like
no, you're absolutely right.
I'm a Celtics fan, but like half the country was into him because he was like one of the few amazing white players at a time when, you know, black,
accurate,
you know, players. So I think there's a little bit of that with Josh Allen, but to Brian's point, like he's a bad man. Like he's legit a bad man. So whatever his color is, he's bad.
He isn't, and he isn't. And so here's what
no. You can't say he is or he isn't. He is. He's just going up against. He's had to go up against a batter man and lost.
Okay, so keep in mind that Josh.
Hey, Nan, I know you're not familiar with this, having had the best quarterback to play in NFL history. You're not used to going up against better quarterback. But I'm trying to tell you. Hey, sometimes it is what you just got to hold. You just got to see time. You got to hold. You got to hold your.
But wait a minute, Romo's a better color commentary than Brady.
Oh yeah, no, we ain't talking about that quarterback. I ain't say nothing about commentary.
Yeah,
Brady is trash as a commentator.
I agree,
absolute trash.
We can get that. So
we could do the color commentary better than him.
Yeah, we can go down that rabbit hole. But here's my struggle with Josh Allen, and this comes from being an AFC East fan, right? Mm-hmm. Early on, like I would say the first 3 to 4 years of his career, he was a turnover machine.
Yeah.
Never thought dude was going to get right. Okay. So
but he got right.
He turned that corner. But there were still games, if I remember correctly, there was a game that we had in Buffalo, and we were able to beat that dude doing nothing but running the ball.
Like the weather was terrible. You couldn't even throw the ball, bro.
But here's the thing: he's supposed to
throw the ball, but they had no running game. That's before James Cook got there. You can't bring you can't bring that up, nah.
But here's my struggle, bro. He's supposed to be an elite runner too, right? Everybody says Josh Allen,
but he's not the starting running back. You can't have no running game.
So my struggle is I feel like Mahomes would have found a way against us, even in the wind. Now, maybe I'm giving him too much credit.
Yes.
Maybe I am.
Yes.
But I feel like Lamar would have found a way to beat us.
No.
Because it was at home. It was in Buffalo.
If you can't throw the ball, you can't throw the ball.
All we had. So I guess what I'm saying is I've seen more bad Josh Allen games than most people have, having watched him since a rookie. That's
divisional bias, and I will not stand for it.
No, so
I will not stand for it.
I can see that he's gotten better.
He's gotten better. He's probably going to win.
I think he is a top 10.
He's a top.
We're not going to talk about the past.
I don't
about the past. I told you he talks about the past.
He's a top 3 quarterback, bro.
So
I'll tell you what.
He's a top.
No.
He's a top 10 quarterback.
I'll tell you what. Take this year, right now.
Yeah.
Swap Brady with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Are the Bills going to the playoffs? Yes or no?
Brady in his prime or Brady now?
Brady in his prime. I said Brady in his prime.
Yes.
No, you lying because Brady can't run and he never could run. So they're not going to the playoffs.
But Brady,
half of the Bills execution late in games is Josh Allen making things happen, and Brady can't make things happen the way Josh Allen can make things happen.
But what Brady had Brady,
I run it faster forward than Brady right now.
I
don't want to hear it.
But here's my also having watched damn near every game that Brady started, right? Mm-hmm. Here's my caveat for Brady. Mm-hmm. What Brady had within the pocket, that pocket mobility, that ability to do slight adjustments to just avoid the rush, buy a little time, and eventually find the cover. He did that better than any of these mobile motherfuckers do today.
Right, but the problem is that's not how the game is played. Quarterbacks who are successful now were successful off of off-schedule plays. When the pocket breaks down, the rush gets to you, what do? Daniels, Jaden Daniels, what does he do? His quarterback rating against the blitz is better than anybody else, and and Brady didn't have that. He's never. So it's not his skill set.
So
he could play in today's NFL.
So all right, I gotta stop you. He could definitely play in today's NFL.
Nope. Why are you not playing then?
Because he's old. He's like 50.
Wait.
Like 50.
Even prime Brady couldn't play in today's NFL because today's NFL is predicated off of off-schedule plays, and that's a thing he sucked at. If you rush him up the middle, he's throwing an interception. Tell me where I'm wrong.
It depends on like the team that got him on that was the Giants. I will give you that.
Twice.
The team that got him on that was the Giants.
Twice. With four-man pressure.
Let me ask you a question, bro. Brian,
but where I was going with this is I think Daniels is a better quarterback than Allen right now.
No, he's not.
But hold up. So you're saying he couldn't play. I mean, you're saying that the NFL, the schedule plays, like you're saying it's that much different from 21 to now, like 3 years ago? Because that's what I wanted to know. So you're saying the year he won.
Okay, but Jared Goff, do we think Jared Goff is mobile?
No.
Okay.
And Jared Goff,
15-2.
The Lions are predicated off their run game. They're not predicated off the quarterback being mobile. That's a whole different thing. Same thing with they're predicated off the running game. So what you're getting from the quarterback is play action passing off the running game, and they're stacking the box on the running game, which means receivers are wide open. So it's not. I would
a lot of the Brady title teams were predicated off of. Like when we won the last title, Sony Michel set a record for rushing touchdowns. It was run Sony Michel, play action to Gronk, because the linebackers are sucked up and the safeties don't know what the hell to do with Gronk. So it was a lot of running and a lot of play action. So I'm telling you, if you put Brady in a Ben Johnson system,
are y'all talking about the last one y'all won or last one y'all lost? The last one y'all were in.
Last one we won. That was it. That was the saying, the Rams.
You talking about the 13-10 defense shouldn't even been a fucking game where the Rams receivers dropped 2 fucking touchdowns? Nah, bro. That was that game.
We beat Mahomes in KC the game before. That game. We beat Mr. Mobile Mahomes in KC the game before, bro.
They had no line. They had 0 line. They had no blocking. Brady had. Mahomes had to throw a pass where he was getting tackled. He was completely horizontal with the ground, off the ground, threw the pass, and the dude dropped it. Like, come on, man. Brady could never do that.
They were at home, bro.
Brady could never do that.
We ain't really lose at home much in the playoffs. I'm just saying, when you're at home,
Brady could never. The things that Mahomes needed to do to win that game, Brady was never capable of doing because he don't have the physical ability to do it. Just it's okay to admit it. It's all right. He's an
okay. So I'll play along with that. So who was our best? Who was our best offensive lineman in that Super Bowl? If Mahomes' line was so bad, who do you think our best lineman was?
Like the Mahomes. So all I can tell you is that after that Super Bowl, the Chiefs changed their whole offensive line.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
And they got one of our guys. They got Joe Thuney.
But that has nothing to do with the physical ability of the quarterbacks that are the top tier now versus the abilities of Brady. He don't have the abilities that these dudes got. He don't got the ability of Burrow. He don't got the physical ability of Mahomes, of Lamar Jackson, that's
not the argument I'm saying. I'm saying
that's the argument I'm making. So I don't know why you trying to make another argument. I'm just saying. Telling you,
Jared Goff was the number 1 seed,
but there were a run
and he ain't mobile. And so were the Patriots. I'm saying
no. The Patriots never ran the ball like that. The Detroit Lions had 2,000-yard rushers on their team, bro. The Patriots never run the ball like that.
We had Corey Dillon get 1,500 yards.
Neither Corey Dillon couldn't sniff Jahmyr Gibbs or Ty Montgomery's jockstrap. He was never good. He was also rare from the Bengals. Come on, bro. I know
Corey Dillon had 1,500 yards.
No, they had 2, bro. Who was the other 1,000-yard back? Who was it?
I'm trying to remember.
There wasn't one. I can tell you there wasn't one. Bro, the Detroit run game is elite. The Patriots
1,500 yards is a
had a
lot.
run game like the Detroit Lions.
I'm saying
he never had it. Never.
I'm telling you, we had a running back get 1,500 yards.
Post the stats, bro. Post the stats. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, it's impossible.
I'll look it up. I'll tell you his exact.
I'll wait.
So this was Corey Dillon. I gotta see 2,000.
No, Corey Dillon was a 1,000-yard rusher. I do remember that. He was a good pickup. He was a good free agent pickup. But that ain't what Detroit was doing.
All right. Well, let me.
Hey, now I'm looking that up. I had a couple of questions before we hang up tonight. I wanted to make sure I asked.
Brian, it was 1,635 yards. Let me go to
Is it 635 1,000, bro?
1,600, 1,635.
Who's that, Dillon?
Dillon, yes. They ran like a motherfucker. So hold on. So I gotta see what the season stats were. Where will the seasons?
When were you at Virginia Tech? In the mid 90s? Late 90s?
I was there from 94 to 99. I got there.
Okay. I think I found something that you would appreciate because I did a little. I had to do a little sleuthing. Give me a second here.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna send it in the chat and see if these. Where is it? I took some screenshots of this. I found an old GeoCities website, man.
Oh wow.
I think this is your squad. It's in the chat now. You see this? Did you play? You played in the was it the Sugar Bowl?
I played in the first Sugar Bowl. So I played in the Sugar Bowl and
you beat Texas, right?
Yeah, 95.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So this is your squad. This is like that year, senior year. That was the senior year post. It was about somebody on the team, and you're listed as a sophomore.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the Googles.
Nice. All right, I'm fine.
Let me see I didn't see what you posted though. Hold on.
I'm gonna send the.
Hold on. I got it.
It's a screenshot. I'll send the link to, but the link is a little janky though. I just because it has like it takes you to like some pop-up site, but I sent you a bunch of screenshots. You see them in the chat?
Yeah, I see them. There should be
a bunch of them.
All right. Yeah. So in that season, Brian, it was 2,134 yards rushing. Corey Dillon had 1,635, like I said before. Now I'm trying to see who the second best running back was to get us over that 2,000 mark. Oh wow. They split that shit up, bro. So
that's what I'm saying.
They had Kevin Falk with 255, and then they had Patrick Pass with 141, and then they put in a bunch of like role players for different runs.
Right. Yeah,
but where I was going with it is they did have 2,000 yards rushing, which because you were talking about 2,000-yard backs, and they did have 2,000 yards rushing. It's just that Corey Dillon had 1,635. So it was a very run-heavy offense, is my point.
Yeah, but that's different than having 2,000-yard backs on your team, bro. Like that, like you game plan different than they might run with this guy versus we got to watch out for that guy. That's the point I was trying to make.
Oh, and I'm with you, but I guess what I was saying is he would be in a run-heavy, similar to a Ben Johnson type of joint. And Stafford ain't mobile either, but he's still functional.
But their offensive game plan with Stafford with the Rams, like with that McVay offense, like it's still a run predicated offense.
Right. And most of McDaniel's offenses are actually run predicated. Like he was a dude who kept the fullback when everybody else got rid of it. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Like is the difference is what you're saying, Brian, like if we were to put it into a statement, are you saying Brady would not be able to function as your prototypical quarterback in today's climate? And then are you saying Brady would not function as a Josh Allen, but he could function in this league currently? Goff, like
he could be a Matthew Stafford.
Okay,
he could be a good Sam Darnold in the Vikings offense. Like he would wipe the floor with motherfuckers in a McVay
until it mattered. He would beat people until it mattered. That's what you're saying.
Right.
So my point is,
yeah,
Detroit was the number 2 rushing offense in the NFL.
I got you.
The year where Corey Dillon was the lead rusher for the Patriots, were they number 2 in the league?
Man, now you asking me a different stat. Hold on.
It's not a different stat because I'm saying the same thing. When I say run, when I'm talking about a run-oriented offense, you were top of the league. Like the Ravens.
I know we were top 10. I'm trying to figure out what number it was.
Were you 2?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm trying to see. I'm in the Pro Football Reference. I'm trying to see if there's a rank with the.
Brian, did you see how many of those came through? Was it just one?
No, I got a bunch of
okay.
I got
yeah. Okay, good.
And then I got like 4 or 5 doing different messages. So let me look at those right now while he's looking up, while Nan is looking up those looking up those other things.
So overall, we were the number 4 offense, but
so you weren't 2.
It's not breaking.
So you weren't 2.
I'm saying overall we were the number 4 offense, but it's not breaking it out rush versus pass.
Right, but you weren't 2.
I don't know. Like
you weren't 2. If you were 4, you weren't 2, bro. It's not.
How do I find out if we were the number 1 rushing offense?
It don't matter. You weren't 2.
So now we like splitting hairs between top 5. I'm saying Brady, bro. Like let's not pretend there aren't still pocket passers that are doing okay in those Shanahan McVay offense.
I got you.
Where you coming from?
But I got you.
And I love Drake May. I love Jaden Daniels. Like I like all these mobile guys. I get it. But I'm telling you
more now.
The Shanahan McVay offense with a pocket passer is still functional. And that's what
until it isn't.
And honestly, no, like Ben Johnson.
No, the McVay passing, their offense is functional when they're ahead. Once they go down, and you can predict if they got to run or pass, they're trash. So that's Miami's problem. That's been San Francisco's problem. All them teams, it's all good as long as you got a lead,
right?
But as soon as you go down by 2 possessions, it's a wrap.
So
because all the smoke and whistles and the motion, none of that matters anymore because I know you throw it.
So the Ben Johnson offense, and the reason that I brought him up first is actually a mix between the Earhart Perkins that Josh McDaniels was known for running and the West Coast offense. Like
but they run the ball. They primarily run the ball. They get explosive plays from their running backs, which the level of running back that they have is better than any running back that the Patriots have had over the last 30 years.
I agree with that. They have better running backs than we did. And I love Corey Dillon for the 1 year.
No, I love it too. Like, no, y'all did. Y'all got the most out of what you had, but that's different than drafting a Gibbs.
Right.
That's different than that. You drafted him with number 8. Y'all ain't drafting no running back with no number 8. Y'all gonna pick a defensive tackle or some shit.
I'll tell you where we screwed up was we drafted Sony Michel instead of Nick Chubb. If we had drafted Nick Chubb.
Yeah. Because like they're both disappointments, but Chubb was better longer.
Yeah. So Sony Michel, to his credit, broke the record for rushing touchdowns in the playoffs. I'm not saying he was trash, particularly on that Super Bowl run. And I think that the Chiefs still have nightmares about him. But no, he was never.
The Chiefs have nightmares about y'all defensive line. They don't care about the offense. They won't worry about that.
They were in overtime. They were in overtime when we kicked that ass.
Oh, you talking about in the AFC Championship game?
Yeah.
You talk about where the whole game was decided by the offsides penalty that had nothing to do with the bearing on the game. Okay, yeah, we can talk about that.
I mean, they still could have stopped us on offense. They just decided not to.
No. They stopped you on offense.
OT?
I'm
talking about an OT.
Gary, hold on. I got for Gary. I have to explain. I actually do I do referee
right.
On my side time. So I referee high school, Pee Wee.
Okay.
So and I'm saying that had nothing to do with the play. If I was on there, I wouldn't have thrown that flag.
All right, but he was offsides.
He was offsides.
Can I ask? Can I interrupt real quick and ask some Sugar Bowl questions? Because I've never met anybody that played in a major bowl, so I need to like. Did you? What was your number? I just pulled up the game here, and I was gonna try and
Oh, dude, I was way down on the depth chart, bro.
Okay.
I was number for the Sugar Bowl. I was number 47.
Okay.
Yeah, I was number.
You got in a little bit?
No.
Okay.
Both of the dudes I was behind were ended up in the NFL draft. So no. If I was smarter about it, especially in the transfer portal in the NL era, I probably went to a different school. But I showed up on an academic scholarship, and I'm like, hey, I can play football. So I walked on.
Oh, you walked on? Okay, and you played 4 years?
No, I did 2, and then like I started having conflicts with my major because like basically I have an architecture degree, so like all of my labs were in the like in my freshman and sophomore year, they were all there in the morning, so I could do practice time. But in the afternoons, like through my junior, my fourth, and my fifth year, they were all in the afternoon. And like so for like the second year, I was cool. Like the professor that I had, he played ball, so he knew what it was. So I could come in the mornings and do my stuff. But my third year, like I switched professors, and they were like, "Nah, you got to be here." So I couldn't do practice and do football. And Beamer wasn't trying to put me on scholarship, so I was like, "Hey, well, see what this agreement."
Right. Still, man, to make it onto a roster like that as a walk on is an accomplishment. That's what's up, man.
Oh yeah, I literally just showed up and said, "Hey, can I football?"
Real quick, who are some names that from your team that made it to the league?
Oh, there's a bunch
beyond that played beyond college.
I would say you might remember, because granted, this is like 30 years ago. You remember Antonio Freeman played for the Packers?
Yep.
Yeah, he was a senior when I was a freshman. So like that was one. Obviously Vic, but Vic was like a red shirt. When I left, he was a red shirt freshman. So I never like played with him. But I mean, I was at the spring games. We got, by that point, I was still like cool with the team. So you could still go to practices and all that stuff. So and that was actually pretty funny because like he was like the offensive defense, during the spring practices, they talk a whole bunch of shit because you can't hit the quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So like, they'll come through, and at that point we had like the number one defense in the league in the ACC. Well, no, we were still in the Big East at that point. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
So we had I don't know if you might remember him. He kind of flamed out, but it was a defensive end named Cornell Brown. He played he got drafted by the Ravens. Like he was like a second or third round guy. But we had like a number one ranked defense. So like they would come at him, and then he couldn't, they couldn't hit him, so they would just blow the whistle. And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna get you. So we finally played the spring game where everybody was live, and my God. It was hilarious. Cause like it was like 3 dudes trying to tackle this dude in the phone booth, and they couldn't put a hand on him. Like he was that fast. He's the quickest person I've ever seen in life.
He was 4.2, right? Like in his prime?
Nah, he was like a low 4.3.
Okay.
The fastest guy was a receiver. As a matter of fact, that was my homie's cousin, Andre Davis. He played for the Browns. He had a stint with the Patriots. Yeah. He played for the Bills, and he ended up with the Texans. Like he signed his big contract with the Texans, and he ran a 4.2, 4.21, and he won. Like I think at the time he had the record. He was the gold medal in the Big East 100 meter and the ACC 100 meter.
Wow.
Yeah, like I watched this dude run a 10-2, and he didn't look like he was moving. Like it was just
right.
So you had those 2 guys, but it was like it was just crazy. And then back in the day, like those Big East days, like we had to see Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb was still playing.
Yeah.
Ray Lewis.
Yeah, Miami was still good, right?
Oh, right. The first time we beat Miami, that was 1995.
Mm-hmm.
And we had just lost to Cincinnati at home and Akron. No, we beat Akron. No, we lost to Boston College and we lost to Cincinnati. That was the college game. That was the first ESPN Thursday night game that we did. And then we were 0-2, and then we had to see Miami. And they were like ranked like in the top 10. Oh man, but like professors was joking us in class and everything, and we just ran the ball on. But I counted, and I think in that game, Miami had 22 first and second rounders on their roster. And we had like 6 or 7.
Right.
But it was just, it was ridiculous. It was a year after SAP because we lost to SAP. But like they had like Bubba Franks, like they had Frank Gore, it was star studded. It was just like one dude would come out, another dude would come in. That's a baller. So that was really fun.
Was that Santana Moss era too?
Or? Yeah. I think it was the year before Santana Moss. It was the year before Santana Moss.
Okay.
But it was close run. I think they had Yatil Green and they had another dude.
Was Shockey playing back then?
Yeah, Shockey was there because Bubba Franks was Shockey's backup.
Okay.
That was his backup.
That was his backup. That's what I'm saying. Like the backups went to the league. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like it was ridiculous.
What was your like of your 2 years playing? Like what was your favorite game that you got in and got some minutes and did something?
So what they did with us, and they might have changed it since it's been a while. So like what they did with us is that you actually had like a traveling squad and like a JV squad. So way Beamer did it, only the travel squad like got to dress for games. So like when we went to the games, like we'd be sitting in the stands or whatever. Like we were right there. We were behind the bench, but we sit in the stands. So like now, like everybody can go out there. They got duplicate jersey numbers for everybody, whatever. But Beamer didn't really believe in that. So like there was a game between us and Fort Union because like all like the prep schools, like the military academies, like they would come and play our JV team, and like the coaches would look at them, see if they want to recruit players off the other team or whatever, and then be the opportunity for us to get played. So the coach told me that the running backs coach told me that if I got 100 yards in that game, I would be able to play the following week. Like I would dress for the following week. And I think at the half, I had 65 yards and a touchdown. I was playing fullback, by the way.
Wow.
I had 65-yard touchdown, but I dislocated my thumb.
Oh no.
Yeah, this thumb right here still clicks.
Oh man.
So I couldn't dress, and that was we played Akron when they still had Jason Taylor.
Oh wow, okay.
And the final score ended up being 77-27. And everybody played. Like they damn near had cheerleaders playing. I was hurting. I couldn't play. Man, I had a cast on my thumb. I was mad as a bitch.
And you had 65 yards?
Yeah.
No wonder you were that was probably part of what's going on. You were like, come on, Saquon, let him play.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like I went in the second half because like we literally ran the same play over and over and over again. I remember the play was a fullback belly. So we would fake the sweep. So the quarterback would come out and he would like reverse turn like he was going to pitch it to the running back. And I would basically take a side step over, and as the quarterback would fake that toss, he would turn all the way around and put it and hand it to me, and I'd be right between the guard and tackle.
What was your 40 time?
My best 40 time was a 4.43.
Damn, you were fast.
Yeah.
But then when I got to college, because I was like 180 pounds, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna be playing running back, and now you got to block dudes that are like 6'4", 230. So I got this weight. So like my resting 40 time was like a 4.5, like a mid 4.5. But I got like a lot more explosive. Like my
right. There's time speed and then there's game speed, right? Which
and I needed the game. I needed the lateral quick this more than I needed the top end speed.
Okay. Real quick, so a couple more random questions. Now I'll let you go. What Rudy, as somebody that has done the whole thing, yay or nay on the movie Rudy?
No, that's good. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I think it's romanticized a little bit, but that is true. Like a lot of times, especially if like for me in my case, I stopped. Like I was still associated with the team. Like I'm still in a group chat. I tell Nan, like I'm in a group chat with a lot of my old teammates. You know, like I'm still invited back to like the spring games, like it's really a brotherhood. So I could see if I played all 4 years, then I probably would have, they probably would have did something like that. Like I would have gotten the game. It wouldn't
right.
It just wasn't feasible for me.
Had you seen that webpage I sent in the chat? Had you seen that before? Or was that your first time seeing it? The screenshots I sent? Had you seen that page?
No, I hadn't.
Oh, okay. That's why you.
Yeah. I'm gonna look into those, man. My bad. I'm messing up on the content, man.
No, you good, man. Yeah, I mean, take your time. I can also just send it email to you if you later. But that's cool, man.
No, it was good times, man. One of the best times of my life, man. And it was all like random. Like I didn't plan on it. It's just the way things laid out. So
you played 4 years in high school?
Yes. But I only played in high school. Like I got cut from my middle school team because I was too small. I was a late bloomer.
Nice.
Yeah. And then after that, I played semi-pro in Virginia, South Carolina, and Japan.
Okay.
They actually have military leagues in Japan.
Right.
So, but they actually have like legit pro, like they have pro like Japanese American football. So basically, like you have say you work for Hitachi will have a team.
Okay.
You make the team, then part of your job is playing football.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. So we'll play like the other bases. We play the other bases. And then we play the local Japanese teams. And then at the end of the year, the best pro team plays the best college team, and they call it the Rice Bowl. Can't make the shit up.
Well, they're allowed, right? They're allowed to.
Yeah, it's Japan. But no, Japan, like American football is big in Japan. And then most recently, I was in Italy, and they have American football there. And it's like it's a tiered system. So basically, like Division 3 there is 7-man football, and then Division 2 is 9-man, and then Division 1 is 11-man. So I was coaching like the 7-man team, and then like we were partnered with a 9-man team. So like we would practice together, and I would like help them out and stuff. It's kind of hard with the language barrier, but
right.
But basically, like, we would do that, and then in those cases, and the same with Japan football, like you could have like a certain number of American players on your team. So usually, like it was like 1 or 2, usually quarterback or cornerback or running back or something like that. So
yeah. We should connect because if you ever have any prospects and high school kids that you're looking to place, I know a couple of coaches in Cali that coach for some JUCO schools, like and like good ones like Mount San Antonio College, which is like one of the best D2 schools in the country. So
it's transformative. So definitely, man. I mean, because especially like being a ref now, I get to see a lot of talent, and there's some guys that definitely might be looked over, but you could see that they have
right. Just don't have the grades or something like that, or whatever, SATs or whatever.
Yeah, they got that talent. It's just maybe not, or maybe they're playing the wrong position, or like that's the stuff I could definitely look at and be like, okay, well, maybe your trash is outside linebacker, but maybe you need to be a defensive end, or maybe you need to be a tight end.
Yeah.
So like the guy that had the locker next to me, his name was John Engelberger, and you probably don't know him. But he came in as a walk-on tight end, and he ended up being a first-round defensive end pick for the 49ers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
that movie they made of that one walk-on, the most famous walk-on, what was that guy's name? I forget his name. You know the one I'm talking about? It's like on Netflix.
Man, I don't want to lie to you.
Yeah, about Rudy?
No. It's like some Christian, like it's like anyway.
No, I've heard about it. It's just not top of mind.
I forget. It's based on a true story. Then he died on a car accident, like after he got his first contract or something. But anyway, favorite football movie?
Ooh,
all time.
The Program.
The Program is good. I feel like The Program is underrated. I really do.
I'm between The Program and what's the other one with Jamie Foxx? Any Given Sunday?
Given Sunday is strong too.
Yeah, like those are my two. Like those are my two. But if I had to pick one, I pick The Program.
What about you, Nan?
All right, so I don't want to duplicate Brian. I do. I feel like the program is super realistic from the tangents.
Really,
I know it's based on Florida State, kind of like without saying it.
that shit happens, bro.
And I know that they edited stuff out like after certain things happen. Like I'd love to see the uncut version to really get the real. Okay, so I'm going to go with The Longest Yard.
Okay.
And
North the original or the
Dallas 40. I'm gonna go with two older classics. So Longest
Yard and what?
Dallas 40.
Okay.
Look, the strong picks.
Yeah, because Brian's song is too easy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like Brian's song is good, but I can't just, everybody says Brian's song, so I can't.
I mean, it's a good fucking movie.
It is, but I'm gonna let Gary do Brian's song because he's like he's more of a Brian song. So go ahead, Gary. We know that's one of yours.
What you think of me on Brian's song?
You're definitely a Brian song.
Listen, mine is a cliche, man. Mine is corny, but I love Denzel and I love me.
Okay, remember the Titans. Okay,
remember the Titans.
Choice. That's a good choice. Coming in different levels. So we got a high school, we got a college, we got a pro. That's perfect.
Yeah. I love Any Given Sunday as well. And I love it especially because of the Bill Bellamy story about Jim Brown getting punched.
No, not Jim Brown. It was
I was just playing.
No, it was LL punched Jamie Foxx.
Oh no, there's two stories. There's two stories in that movie.
I think there was a lot of punching in that movie.
There was the LL fight. Dude, look it up. Bill Bellamy tells both stories. There's one of him talking about the LL, and then another one where Jim Brown is talking shit to one of the extras who was a college player. And he's like, man, that ain't shit. I would have fucked it. And then he's like, oh, really? And the guy didn't know who it was. And he had a kufi on. That's the part that he's like, and Jim Brown had a kufi on.
Oh, no.
His body slaps.
Well, just to keep it a buck, man, like real talk. So my first weekend at Tech walking on. So like what happened was I went there for ROTC scholarship, but I actually lost a scholarship off of some medical, whatever. It was like some red tape, whatever. So I was basically there, but in order to go to the ROTCs, you had to go there early. You got to go there 2 weeks early. You have a cadre. So I was already on campus. So I'm on campus and they're like, well, we don't got that scholarship. You still want to be in the Corps of Cadets. And I'm like, hell no. So they moved me to a dorm, and the dorm happened to be across the street from the athletic department and the stadium and all that stuff. So that's why I ended up walking up. Like, I literally just was like, all right, well, I'm sitting in this room. I see people walking to the building. I'm like, well, let me just go ahead and check and see what's up. So I talked to the athletic director and whatever.
Yeah.
So after that, I'm on the team. We're doing whatever. Within a week, I got in a fight with a brother freshman receiver over a game of Foursquare. So it's like, you at the cafeteria, it's afterwards, it's after practice, you got an 8 and we're playing for, and like dude was like trying to bogart the spot. I'm like, nah, we had that. So we started to scrap. Like right then and there. So that was the first one. The second one, this was like a year later. It was me and basically the fullback in front of me. And this is like some prison yard shit. So we're it's after practice. We're sitting at the training table. We already got our trays, whatever. I got my food. He got his food. He's sitting next to me. He decide he want to take my dessert off my plate. And I'm like, bro, it ain't gonna happen. So we tore the whole cafeteria, flipped over tables, just knocked the whole thing off. So Beamer kicked both of us off the team. Problem was, the fullback had just earned his scholarship. He was a walk-on. He had just got one full scholarship. So we kicked us both off the team, and the seniors went back to being like, hey, man, because at the same time, the start, Jim Druckenmiller was a starting quarterback. He played for the...
Yeah,
he played for that dude. I used to work out with him. That motherfucker was a beast, man. That was a rock, but goddamn, strong as an ox, man. All I know is he was 6'4", I'm 5'8", and running back, and we squatted the same. That's all I can tell you. But anyways, he had just gotten a fight in the bar, knocked the dude out, and nothing happened to him.
Right.
Now, Bean wants to suspend both of us. So it seems like, hey, man, that ain't right, man. If you ain't going to suspend him, you can't suspend these other dudes. We all, it's all fair. So he was like, all right, cool. Y'all could both be back on the team, but old boy lost a scholarship.
Ooh.
I wasn't on scholarship. I was a walk-on. So I'm like,
wow, that's wild.
Yeah. So he ended up losing scholarship.
And what was it? Did y'all make good after that? What was it like?
Yeah, we did. Like several years later, we connected on Facebook and everything's cool now. Yeah. Like all the beef I have, like even with the other dude, like he's on that same group chat I'm on with the rest of the dudes. So it's all brothers, but
isn't that wild? Like that, I mean, just the most random things happen and then your whole life changes, right?
Yeah.
Like yeah. And then you're thinking at the time it's probably a big deal. Like you got to tell your parents that my scholarship fell through and all this, and then now you're on a group chat with these people from like 30 years ago.
Yeah, man. Like you just it all, and I think that's the biggest thing that my biggest takeaway from being in college athletics and all that is that it really is a brotherhood. If you're in the right, like if you're in the right environment and you're in the right, if the culture's right, it really is a brotherhood, and y'all bleed together. You go to work every day together, and like if your team is right, no man is better than the next. And that's the culture. I can tell you that's the culture that Virginia Tech has. I can't tell you going forward that's what it's going to be, but I can tell you that's what we've had in the past, and that's part of the reason why we were successful back in the day because everybody was cool with everybody.
Yeah.
Can you still go to a game now? Do you still have connects to be able to go to a game once in a while and hang out with the team, like the current team? That's what's up. That's great.
Yeah, I'm looking at going at I think the kickoff classic might be, I think it's us versus South Carolina in Atlanta, and of course Shane's son is the coach of South Carolina. He was my teammate. He walked on with me, and that's how he ended up getting on the team because he was a long snapper.
Okay, I got you.
You can't hit the long snapper because he wasn't that bad. He had decent athletic skills, but like his dad, his dad's a special teams guru. He's like, yeah, this is how we're gonna keep you on the team, and that's what it was.
Yeah,
I've told this. I have this recurring fantasy I played basketball in high school, but if knowing what I know now, if I knew what I know, I would go back and just practice being a long snapper on the football team, and just like that's all I would do. Like I would be the only one in Samoa that was into long snap because nobody gives it. Yeah,
it's just hard though. It's not easy to do.
No, I understand. No, nothing's easy. But
yeah, no, I'm
easier than quarterback.
Well, I mean, let's see if it wasn't because of these shoulders.
Yeah. That'll be for another time.
Yeah.
Let's ask you one last football related question since you're here, man.
Okay, what's up?
If you had to pick one player of this upcoming draft, Senior Bowl's been popping. You've seen all the playoffs. You've seen a lot of the highlights. You watched a lot of football this year. There's one player out of this draft, first rounder, that you think is going to be that one, that rookie of the year, either side of the ball. Who's your guy? Who are you saying this guy's going to hit the
Abdul Carter?
Carter?
Travis Hunter.
Okay.
One of them two.
Okay.
One of them two. It's. I mean, my only thing with Travis Hunter is that if they're going to utilize him, if they're going to utilize him the same way Colorado did, I don't know if they can, depending on what schemes they're trying to use. But if you got a player that could play both sides of the ball, he might not win offensive rookie of the year or defensive rookie of the year, but he's going to be the most impactful player by far.
Yeah. Right.
And then Abdul Carter, I mean, he wears Parsons' number, and he looks like Parsons. Like, you put him in the right scheme, like that's an easy day. That's fire and forget.
Here's my prediction on Travis Hunter. I think some team is going to make him mainly a corner and give him third down and red zone packages as a wide receiver to kind of get him up to speed. Because I know, if I remember correctly, he can run a slant and a post really well. And I think those slants and those posts on third down and in red zone, depending on what you pair it with, could be really useful. So that's my prediction on him.
So they need to make him a slot receiver. They need to make. So I would envision him on a team that runs two tights.
Okay.
You want to switch from that and go to your passing offense and go to a 3 wide receiver. He's your 3rd wide receiver.
Yeah.
That's why I think that's where his talents will be best utilized. But I agree with you. I think what's going to end up happening is probably what you say. Like he'll be in a couple packages and he'll be a gadget guy, and they're really not going to take advantage of his wide receiver talents, which he obviously has.
You know what? I think after the first year or two, they'll look at the tape and see, all right, what did he do with his offensive looks? How does he look on defense? And then they'll probably make a call on what the priority should be and if they should flip, right? So
but they got to start him out that way though. Like you can't start him out as, I mean, you can do it that way. You're just wasting the year. Like he is a NFL ready wide receiver. He is a NFL ready quarterback. If you fail to utilize him in both roles, that's on you. That ain't on him.
Right. Well, I think it's sometimes when people come in, like Devin McCourty is a classic example. He was a great corner his first rookie year. Then people got tape on him. And his second year, he was trash at corner, and they moved him to safety, and he became a Pro Bowl safety. And
I don't want to disrespect your Patriots love. Yeah. But Travis Hunter and Devin McCourty aren't in the same. They're not in the same stratosphere talent wise, bro. They're not.
I wasn't arguing, even though McCourty was a first rounder, it was later in the first round. I'm not arguing they're the same.
No. They are not the same, bro.
Where I was going with that though is I think you have to see how he performs in both roles once the league gets tape on him to see how you want to utilize him going on. That's where I was going. I wasn't saying
that's fair. That's fair. And I think to my point, I think we're kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Like in order to do that, you actually have to play him the way you want to play him so you can make the adjustments. If you just put him in a package, it's kind of like with us with the Steelers with Fields and Russell Wilson. Like once Russell Wilson was healthy, okay, cool. You got Fields. Yeah, we're gonna put him in on 3rd down. That's not, you put him on 3rd down like every other game, that's not really seeing what he has.
Right.
You know, like you gotta like incorporate him into the offense in such a way. And granted, it's hard to do with a quarterback than as a receiver, but you got to do that in a way so he can showcase his effectiveness. But it won't matter because Russell's gonna be gone, and we probably and we'll just have to wait till the quarterback comes around.
My closing thought is I enjoyed Frankie Louvu trying to do his best Troy Polamalu impersonation at the end of the game. And the only difference is that Polamalu actually would have not been called sides and it would have worked.
Although I never knew that rule existed. And as a referee who studies rules, granted, it's different. The rules are different at every level of play, but I'd never heard of that. I was like, me and Nan were like, oh, damn, that's a thing?
Yeah.
They showed the black and white footage of the last time referees awarded a touchdown. And essentially what it was, Gary, was in the Cotton Bowl, an Alabama player saw that player was about to make a touchdown, like there's nobody left to tackle him, came off of the bench onto the field with no helmet and tackled the guy, injured him, and then went back onto the bench. And essentially the refs were like, what the touchdown? Like,
right.
So
yeah.
I
will always have big love for the Steelers because Polamalu is probably one of my two favorite players of all time.
Love him.
Yeah, and he was we were at an event a couple of years ago, so I got to meet him.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah, in Orange County. So,
cool. Was he bigger than you thought he was going to be, or smaller?
No, he's smaller. Yeah,
that's how it is. It's like they're either super huge or super tiny. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, and he still looked. I mean, he didn't like he didn't like he hadn't blown up or anything. He was just a rig,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, man. That I mean, I followed him. I was in LA when he was at USC playing for Carroll and that whole generation. So, I was and also you had mentioned Lynn Swan, like that was a childhood team before that Eages, the whole green commercials and all that stuff. So But appreciate Brian. I really appreciate you, man. We appreciate you coming on, sharing your knowledge. You're super knowledgeable, and I love seeing somebody else talk shit with Nan and give him a go of it. So
we've been doing that for 25 years, bro.
I can tell. I can tell. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Brian. Thank you.
No problem, man. Thanks for the invite, man. It was fun.
All right, man. This is fun. Appreciate you both. Take care.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Burn Ships Podcast. Every like, every comment, every subscribe helps with the algorithm. And we'll see y'all again. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Right. Go Eagles.